Well, good morning. How are you all today? And welcome to Integrative Preparedness. I'm Steve Smith. I just had breakfast. By the way, welcome to all the new people who have joined recently, both on YouTube and on Patreon. And to anybody who just happened to wander by here, welcome to you. We're a community. We're more than just a channel here at Integrative Preparedness. We're a community of like-minded people, those, of course, who are interested in preparedness, but also we're a group that is polite and we think positively, and we don't try to just talk about, how horrible things are and how scary things are and how the end of the world is coming next Thursday. Excuse me. But we do take it very seriously, and we have just an exceptional group of people who are our subscribers and our commenters. So I always claim to have the smartest commenters in YouTube land, and all you have to do to know that that's right is to check the comments, and even more so over on Patreon. That is if this is an exceptional community, Patreon it's the cream. So consider coming to us over there as well. I want to talk today about are you ready to start over? First I should say a couple things. Anyway, I started my day. This is how I do things, right? Kind of. Just had breakfast. It was amazing. Went out and picked fresh tomatoes out of the garden. And I'll tell you what I had, because I'm putting it together. Some of you don't know this, but we're putting together a Stonemont cookbook. That's right, a Stonemont cookbook, which is a good time to remind everybody that this and all of my videos are brought to you by my books, the Stonemont series, available on Amazon or through our website, stonemont.us. Yes, they are, and you'd love them. But yes, I've had people ask me, because some of the favorite scenes in my books are about preparing the food and the eating and the feasts that they have and things like that. It's a great series. We get into, it's not just all doom and gloom. It's about living well. Okay, it's about living well in horrible situations. And if you don't think that's possible, well, stick with us, because that's what we talk about. So I love just had breakfast. I go out in the garden and I see what God has given me today, and He gave me a whole bunch of really nice cherry and grape tomatoes. The big ones aren't coming in quite yet, so I picked those. I go in and I put some olive oil and some butter in a frying pan and put it on low. Let it get to going, and then I dice up some onions, some sweet onions, and I put those in to saute, and then I come out on the deck. I keep most of my herbs out on the back deck, some of them out front, because some do better in more sun than others. But I'll get parsley, sage, rosemary, no thyme, oregano, basil, and that might be it. I don't know. But anyway, and so I bring those in and I chop them up. The micronutrients in herbs are amazing. If you don't include herbs in your food, you should, and just study it up. I won't bore you with all the things. You can find out. Look at all of the herbs and see the micronutrients in them, and they are important. They're important to healthy. I talk about, I discovered years ago that there was a village in Italy to where they had a disproportionate number of people over 100 years old, and what they found out was the only difference between them and the surrounding areas, they ate more rosemary. So guess who started growing more rosemary, right? So I cut those up and I put those in the frying pan and I saute them with the onions and the butter and olive oil. Get them going real well, and then I put my eggs in there and I slow fry those, and when they're ready, then I put tomatoes on it. A lot of people think that's odd. I did too. The first breakfast I had in Ireland, I'd come in. I'd had a bit of a problem getting into Ireland, which some of you on Patreon have heard that story. But anyway, the next morning I was dragging. I went down the hotel I was staying at and ordered my breakfast, and fried eggs and bacon and sausage, which they call rashers and bangers, and then there were sliced tomatoes on the plate. And I thought, well, that's odd. I never heard of tomatoes with breakfast. You know, we usually have them on our hamburgers or salads and things. No, it's common over there. You know, tomatoes, sliced tomatoes with your breakfast. And I got to like it. And so I did that. So that's the way to start the day. That is the way to start the day. We printed a bunch of t-shirts yesterday. We're going to do some more today. And I am wearing one of them. Here's one of the new t-shirts, in case you'd like to see. Which one am I wearing? I am wearing the bar t-shirt. I call it the bar, if you can look down there. Okay, raise myself up there so you can see it. I call it the bar for Bible, axe, and rifle. Those are the three things that the original European settlers to our country brought over. They built, our country was built on that: the Bible, the axe, and the rifle. And so that's what this shirt is. I should have brought out the other book that shows you what it said. Oh yeah, here it is. On the front, it's one of my favorite Bible verses, and it's on the back of the Stone Mountain notebook. It says, and that's what the writing is down here, if you can see. Okay, it says, "Except the Lord build the house, they labor in vain that build it. Except the Lord keep the city, the watchman waketh but in vain." That's Psalm 127:1. And that is so true. So yeah, the shirts are available, as are the books, now on the Stonemont website, stonemont.us. And these, they come in three different, they come in the regular Stonemont pine tree, where life is good, it says underneath. Then it comes in this. Then it comes in the alumnus. Those who have read the books, and those are being printed today. I'll probably show you one tomorrow. And what do they come in? They come in they come in 5 different colors: ash, sage, which this is the sage, a military green they call it, and a royal pine, which is really pretty, and then a sand. And these are premium, really good t-shirts. So anyway, that's how I start my morning. Don't I have a horrible life? You know why I have this life? Because I started over. I stopped doing the things that were dragging me down and back, physically, mentally, emotionally, all those things. And I said, "The heck with that. I'm going to live my life the way I want to. I'm not going to be trapped by the expectations and the limitations of a world around me that I disagree and despise much of how it does things, much of how it works." And I did that a long time ago. A long time ago. Many other people have done it. But starting over is something that people need to consider. First off, for 2 reasons. First off, for the big one, in my books, for instance, on the cover of the very first one, the reversion, it says, "When the world collapsed, some were ready to start over." That's an important concept. Let's see, who's this? Oh yeah, okay. Somebody was calling. Ready to start over. Well, we think about that in the context of a big collapse. Are you ready? That's what preparing is all about. Everything comes apart. The grids come down. EMP, CME, and have you been watching the solar cycle lately? That thing is getting really active. We have some smart people on Patreon, Hondo Bob and some others. They can explain a lot more about it than I can. All that I need to know is that it can happen, and I want to prepare for it. Okay, the science, although I find it interesting, it's also a little bit beyond my ken and beyond my my ability to put in the time to understand it. But I want to know that it can happen, and since I know that it can happen, that's what I prepare for. Make sense? So we prepare for that down the road. But starting over can also mean more than that. You don't have to wait for the end of the world, to begin again. You don't have to wait passively while something causes the complete collapse of society and then go, okay, now I'm ready to start over again. I know a lot of people, and you probably do too. Maybe you're one of them, and I don't disagree with you if you are. But I have a lot of friends who say, man, I just wish a CME would hit right now. Right now. Because I am so sick of the way the world is going. I would just rather, it's being run by morons, it's being run by liars, it's being run really by the people who couldn't stand up individually on their own and have any influence or power in the world. But we've seen the mediocre people grouped together in so many groups. They run the world by committee and meetings. This is nothing new to you. The world's now being run by the marginal folks who have come together in various groups of victims, and they run a lot of the world and make it more difficult on us, and we pretty much have to separate ourselves from that system in order to live life the way we want to. So I do have a lot of friends, and I've thought about it myself. If everything came crashing down, okay, good, fine, we can start over. And really, then what happens is the people with abilities will again be able to direct things. Now, right now, somebody will say, oh, but think of all the horrors that would happen. Think of all the people that would die. Well, yes, I've thought about it. I wrote 6 books about it, okay? 90% of the people in the affected area would die within the first 12 months. Yes, we know that, okay? That everybody knows that. And have I thought about the suffering and the horrors? Yes, I have. And it'd be a horrible thing to see. But, God has cleansed this world before. He cleansed the whole world, or he cleansed parts of it. He did one through a flood, and he brought fire and brimstone down on Sodom and Gomorrah. And he sent plagues before. Who knows what's going to happen? Your concern needs to be whether you're prepared to withstand whatever does happen. But being ready to start over doesn't just mean that you have to wait for that big cataclysmic event. It has to do with your life. And every day you make a decision, either consciously or subconsciously, to continue the way you're going or to start a new path, a new direction. I heard a saying one time. I won't get this exactly right, but it was like, it depends on which direction you're facing. How's this go? As to whether you're at the end of the road or the beginning of the road, right? It means like, are you looking back in the past, or are you looking forward in what's to come? And every morning, every moment of your life, really, you have that potential to make a decision. Am I on the path I want to continue to follow for the rest of my life, or for the next year, or whatever? Am I on the path I want to continue to follow? And you can probably boil that down to simply saying, am I on the right path? Am I on the right path? And if you continue on the path you're going, well, you either are on the right path because you have navigated yourself onto it, and through conscious decisions made yourself be on the right path, or you're simply ignoring, say, I don't want to think about it. And I would suggest that you do think about it. I've done many things in my life, totally different things. I mean, they were so different. If I told you all the things that I've done, all the businesses that I've had, it would look like a jigsaw puzzle with all the pieces just thrown out on the floor. There wasn't necessarily a common thread between most of them, except my desire to be independent and to follow those things that I found interesting at the time. And so I have essentially started over many, many times in my life. And it was just because I I became interested in something else. Even since Kelly and I got married, we have done so many different things as far as having different businesses and things. It simply is one of those that we refuse to be locked into, the expectations of society. And we can't stop thinking about other things that are interesting and fun to do. And guess what? That we can make good livings at. So this is what I kind of, and all of this comes together with one goal in mind, okay? And that is, we don't mind starting over or starting something new. And sometimes it's not like you lose one thing. We hardly ever lose something. We've had a couple of times when the newspaper business changed and we lost 80% of our income because we lost a whole bunch of routes from papers that had gone out of business. And that was fun, right? Yeah, lose 80% of your income, and it's a real joy. But you know what? It was okay. Well, so now we deal with that. And a lot of that is just inside. Are you going to curl up in a ball and go, oh, I'm so sad, this is just so unfair, and life is just not fair, and I'm a good person, and why is this happening to me? No, you don't. You go, okay, now what? Okay, what are we going to do now? And so we find things to do, and we did them. And life has just worked out very well, and we give it to God on that. I mean, God has blessed us just, far beyond. I mean, nobody deserves God's blessing, but if there's anybody who deserved it maybe less than others, it would be me. So we have, in some cases, it was not, our choice, but in others it was. Okay, we've come to the end of this. I think now it's time to do something else. But common in all of that was the goal and the purpose to continue to be ready and prepared for a total collapse, at which time it would be necessary to start over completely, as I write about in my books. Now, in order to do that, we have had to do a lot of smaller starting overs, because if we just rode those dogs, until they died, then you're picking up. And as I said, we have started from the bottom a couple of times, started over. But whether you're able to, of course, has to do with your own, resiliency, your own strength, your own determination, your own hard work. And here back again. Did you all see? I haven't had any of those comments for a while that say, I can't do it. Maybe I finally got rid of them, or I let them know that I don't want to hear it. I am not big on excuses. Okay? So I haven't heard any. So if there's anybody out there who has something rattling in the back of their mind right now, yeah, but I just can't do that. Yeah, you can. I put up that picture on Patreon about that young girl who's a ballerina born with no arms, and she wanted to be a ballerina, and she did it, and she's amazing. And tell me that you have worse problems than her. Starting over can be one of the most exciting things you've ever done. I've known people who had horrible things happen to them. I mean, I've got a buddy of mine that just went through several terrible things at the same time. And man, he acted like a man, and he kept on going. He didn't whine, he didn't complain. And I assured him he was going to come out at the end of all that in a better situation. And it was pure hell for him going through it. Although he never whined, he never complained. And now he is on a path that that allows him to have a fresh start, and he's in great shape now. Much better situation that he was in before, that I won't get into it too more, but it wasn't necessarily exciting for him going through it, and others have gone through this. But now, the chance to start over is exciting. Now, sometimes that excitement takes the form of, I'd rather it not be this exciting, right? But the holding yourself, trapping yourself on a path that is not going to empower you to become the best you can be is sabotaging your future. If you want to be prepared to start over, like in my books, when it all collapses, you should take a close look at whether there are things in your life you should start over now. Maybe your whole life. Are you on the path that is best preparing you to be able to survive a total collapse and to start over successfully? And as I say, my books they're the total plan on how to prepare for, how to survive, and then how to rebuild after a total collapse. Are you living your life so that you are preparing for being able to survive and rebuild after a collapse? Whether that's the total collapse of the system, the country, the world, your community, or just things in your own life. What if you lose 80% of your income and you have a family to support? Are you ready? Have you done those things that prepare you to be able to go through that? Or are you just going to have to throw yourself, in front of the system and say, help me, help me, help me? But that's not what preparedness is. People who are simply prepared to ask the government for help aren't prepared. They're prepared to be slaves. You don't want to be a slave. You want to be self-determining, right? Yeah. You want to be in control of your own life. So I often suggest to people that they take a close, hard look at their life and say, are the things that I'm doing by my choice, or have I allowed myself to be forced into whatever it is, the cubicle, the path, the direction, whatever? Am I trapped? Have I allowed myself? That's the thing. And here again, take the personal accountability. Yesterday I made one on accountability. I'm trapped. It's not my fault. Yeah, it is. Did you allow yourself to be trapped because of a failure to make the right decisions in a life or lifestyle that is not the best for you and preparing you to live independently and self-reliantly? If you have, you need to get out of it. You need to separate yourself from it, and that means you have to take the steps to enable you to do it. You don't just bail out, okay? You start working towards your escape. When a guy, some of the greatest stories in the world, right, have been everything from Les Miserables to the one that Clint Eastwood did about escaping Alcatraz. The Great Escape, whatever. Some of the greatest storylines are about people escaping, right? Escaping from prison. Well, they didn't do it by just, I think I'll escape today. Let me make a run for it. No. What did it take? Planning. Watch The Great Escape. What a great movie. I remember seeing that from the time I was a kid. Planning, work, preparations, right? And then you're ready to make your separation from the system that has been imprisoning you. See, I always get to the point right at the last part of the video for you news people. It's like going to church. It's probably the preacher enemy. I build up, and finally, there it is. That's what it's all about. You need to do those things that enable you to separate yourself from and escape the world, the lifestyle, the prison of a world that is keeping you captive. And get out there and be self-determining. Live the life you want to live. Yes, you can. To the person that I just heard you. I just heard that person back there say, "But Steve, I can't." Yes, you can. Whether you will or not depends on whether you will or not. But that's what preparedness is all about. What are you preparing to be? Are you preparing to live the kind of life God meant you to live? Okay? In charge of your own life, or are you preparing to be a slave? So anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. You know how we always say, prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. That's what this is all about, living the way you want to live. You know, remember, the books are available on Amazon. I'll put all the links down below, as I always do, in paperback or in Kindle. The Reversion, the Revival, the Renewal, An Appeal to Heaven, The Blessings of Freedom, Hostages to Fortune. I'm going to go in there in a few minutes and do some more writing on book number 7. Or they're available, and the best way to get them probably is through our website, stonemont.us. Stonemont, where life is good. You will love the story, and you will learn a lot from these books. The books are available on the website, stonemont.us. The shirts are available on the website. And man, we just got a huge number of orders yesterday. Don't worry, I'll go make more. And pretty soon, the mugs, the Stonemont mug is going to be ready. And I'm doing a whole series of American Reversion mugs that are beautiful. So we have a lot going on. I always have a lot going on. You know, that's what it takes to build a life that you run yourself rather than let other people tell you what you have to do. So you all have a good day. Take a look at it. Take stock of yourself. Are you ready to start over? Both in if the big collapse happens, or just to get on a different path that you know is better for you for your life. And if you're not, start doing the things that it takes. Sit down, make a list if you need to. What do I need to do to start over? And then get at it. And like I say, remember that we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. The living well comes from the preparing well. So you all have a great day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.